So if you want to sublimate a shirt, you're going to need a few items. You're going to need the shirt that you want to sublimate. When you're looking for a shirt, you need to have a high polyester count shirt. The higher the polyester count, the better your sublimation will appear on the shirt. You're going to need a lint brush, lint roller, and I will show you why later. You're going to need heat resistant tape. You're going to need a image to put on it. It does have to be in sublimation ink. So this I printed off with my Sawgrass SG400. I use some heat resistant foam, and why I use this is to help reduce the lines that sometimes the paper will leave on the shirt when it's pressing. So if you do decide to do some heat resistant foam, you want to make sure that when you cut it, that the foam itself covers the image size, but that the paper, as you can see still, hangs off over the foam. So that's how you know what size to cut your foam when you're dealing with pressing an image. I use heat resistant gloves as well, simply because I burned myself one time at 400 degrees while pressing it, and I never ever want to do that again. And I also have some butcher paper here. The reason for the butcher paper is that it's going to help reduce some of the bleeding, as far as like I don't want it to bleed through the shirt and I don't want it to go onto my heat press. So that is why I use that. Once you have all of these supplies gathered, you are ready to sublimate your shirt. So head on over to your heat press and heat it up to 400 degrees, and you're going to press for 1 minute. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and prep my shirt while I have my heat press heating up. I'm going to take my lint roller and I'm going to just roll along my shirt. And the whole point of this is just to get any of that extra loose lint or particles or anything like that that might interfere with our sublimation design, to get that off. Okay, once we have done that, and we're going to hold on to this because we are going to need it again after we're done sublimating, so keep that nearby. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take one of my pieces of butcher paper, and I'm going to slide it inside the shirt. Okay, and the reason I'm sliding this butcher paper inside the shirt is to keep it from the design from sublimating through my shirt. You want to go ahead and take the image that you have that you want to sublimate. And then what you want to do is you want to position it to where you want it on the shirt. Now, for me personally, what I like to do is like to take my 3 fingers here and I hold it up to the collar. Now this is where I decide to put the image. Basically, I will take my finger, where my 3rd finger hits is where my image will typically begin. And I feel like this is typically a good rule to follow, but that is personal preference, so do whatever you feel looks best on your shirt. So position it to where you want it, and then I take some heat resistant tape like so, and you want to hold it down. The reason we're holding it down is so that when we open and close the heat press, it won't jostle the shirt and then cause it to sublimate in 2 different positions and cause like a mirroring ghosting type of image. We definitely don't want that. Now that I have the heat resistant tape holding down my image, I'm going to go ahead and take my foam and I'm going to place it inside of my shirt underneath the butcher paper that I've already put in there. And as I mentioned earlier, when I'm deciding where to position this foam inside the shirt, I want it to basically cover the image that I'm sublimating, but I want the paper to still hang over the edges. So that is what you're looking for when you're deciding where to put the foam inside the shirt, if you do decide to use the heat resistant foam. Okay, so I have my shirt with everything set up here on my heat press. Now the final step before I press it is to take another sheet of the butcher paper, and we're going to cover it, and this is going to help prevent it from bleeding onto our heat press. Now I do have my lint roller standing by, so that way I can use it again when my shirt is done pressing, but my heat press is heated up to 400 degrees. I'm going to go ahead, slide this in, press it for 1 minute. Okay, now it is done pressing. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead, take off my image. Go ahead and take all of this out, lay it flat, take my lint roller, and I'm going to roll over it. And this is going to help the colors really come through and be a little bit brighter. So that is the reason behind using the lint roller at this point. And here we have our final shirt that has been sublimated. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any comments, drop them below. And if you like the video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you're new. Thank you guys.